Here. Hey guys. Hey y'all, so I'm down here at the goat pens this morning, checking on I came down earlier, but I keep checking in because I've got one that's like literally about to freaking pop. She's due like any day now, and it looks like she might be due with twins, so I'm really excited. My first set of twins are doing great. They are seriously thriving. Both are nursing, still off of both mamas, so I'm kind of glad that, or I'm not kind of, I'm really glad that I ended up letting the black mama stay with them. So, and it's kind of cool because these goats are like BFFs. I bought them together, and so I guess they're like best friends ever since. They don't fight over the babies. Like, you'll see the babies around their actual mama, and then they'll go over to that one. So they're getting tons and tons of really good milk and really thriving for this time of year. So they're gonna grow up to be some hardy goats. Still don't know whether I'm gonna keep my buckling or not. He's super cute. But I already have 2 bucks that are pretty young, so I'll probably end up selling him as a herd buck eventually. But I'm definitely keeping my little doe because that's the main goal, is to keep growing the herd. But anyway, I came on today because I wanted to talk to y'all since they're 30 days old now, or a little over 30 days now. I want to talk to y'all about 3 things I learned as a first timer. You know, with baby goats. I had never before, if you haven't watched my channel or anything before, you know, I've never had goats before. 2020 was the year I finally got them after doing tons of research. I ended up going with the Kiko breed, which is awesome. I'm really glad I did because they have some awesome mothering instincts, and they're super hardy. So it was really nerve-wracking to have baby goats for the first time. Born on our homestead, and it's been super exciting. So there's another video about that. I think I uploaded it like a couple days ago, so make sure you like look at that one. But anyway, so 3 things that I learned in the first 30 days of having goats. I think they'll be useful to anybody that's a beginner like me. I'll jump right in, and the first thing is definitely their temperature. So if you don't have a thermometer, get a thermometer. You can get a regular baby thermometer to take their temperature. But it's really important that right in the first 48 hours, you make sure their temperature is 100 degrees because they have to be at a body temperature of 100 in order to like nurse properly. So my little girl, for example, she wasn't quite at 100 degrees yet. She got a little cold because when they were born and it was like snowing. And in order, like the boy was fine and he would kind of try to nurse, but the little girl was just, you could tell she was, you know, she was a little smaller too and cold. So I ended up bringing her in for 30 minutes at the time for like every couple hours the first 24 hours. And, you know, getting her temperature up. And at first she would just kind of lay there, and finally she would kind of start moving around to get up, and I'd take her out and she would go ahead and nurse. So that helped. And it's important to make sure you don't give any kind of you know, like supplement milk or anything like that until you know their body temperature is 30 degrees. It's not going to do anything but hurt them. The way I checked them, like after that first initial 24 hours, is when I would go out there, I'd like stick my finger in their mouth. And if it's warm, then they're pretty good. But, you know, the best way to check is a thermometer. If you're a mom, you know, like your hand, you can tell if your kid's got a fever, and I kind of did that with their mouth. And that way I'd make sure they were nursing too, because they would make that suckling. They would suckle on your finger. So after the first 30 hours or 24, 48 hours, she was fine. I didn't have to bring her in anymore, but definitely brought her, those first 3 or 4 times bringing her in really helped her get that good colostrum that she needed. The second thing is definitely, I didn't know this until my goat lady, Vanessa, told me. I call her my goat lady. It's the lady I got my goats from. She's like the best goat mentor ever. Vanessa Eggert of Nomad Mountain Ranch. That's where I got my goats from in Meadows of Dan, Virginia. She's been featured in Goat Rancher. She told me to be careful because goats actually get these wax, like wax plugs in their teats. And it's really hard for the goatlings to get them out, especially if it's cold. So after they gave birth and I had had them in the horse trailer, I gotta switch hands, my arms would fall off. And I had them in the horse trailer, I made sure, and these goats are really tame, so it really helped. I've made sure I turned them over and I like worked those wax plugs out. I tried to do it with just bare hands at first and it was almost impossible. They were really hard. I can only describe it as the worst, most aggravating blackhead ever. And so I ended up coming inside, getting a super, super warm rag, like a little bit damp, but super duper warm. And bringing it out, putting it on her teats, like at the very end, and keeping my hands really warm so that after I pulled it off, I was able to kind of work like I was milking her to get that little wax tip out and then pull it out. And then the colostrum like was flowing out really good. So, and the colostrum or the liquid gold is like super thick. So you could tell when it was flowing. I did that to both of them. It took me a little bit longer with this one because she's not quite as tame as this black one. But it still worked out and got them both milked out good. When it started flowing, I actually took the little buckling and like threw him up on it. And he like went to nursing like that. A good way to know that they're actually nursing and getting something is, see, he's about to nurse off her now, is their little tails will wag. So you know if their little tails are wagging, they're getting some. And so that's how I kind of knew he was already nursing well. And she wasn't nursing quite as good. So that's when I started bringing her in. Another thing about her, when she was born, I guess because she was the second one, she was like kind of like, I guess, rammed up on the side. And her little back legs weren't really straight. So walking around at first, you know, she had to work it out. I didn't have to give her any selenium, but you can give them selenium and it helps with that. But hers worked itself right out, and it was just because of the position she was in. Especially if you look at that video from yesterday, you can kind of tell when she goes up to nurse that her back feet are kind of bent. But they straighten right out, and she does just fine now. So the third thing I think it's really important to know is armpits are the best places to give vaccinations to baby goats. I didn't realize that, well, I knew she had jumped in with the buck about a month early, but it was only 5 minutes. Well, obviously 5 minutes was all it took. So she I ended up not being able to vaccinate her before she gave birth. So they needed their vaccine like within 21 days after they were born. So I had never given a vaccine to a baby goat before. Like I said, I was all new to baby goats. And I had asked Vanessa like where I should give it, like the best place, because I knew it was sub-Q, so like under the skin. And like if you've ever tried to stretch a baby goat's skin, it's like insane. You can't give it to them because they don't have that much, I guess, because they're little. And so she was like, it's an armpit. And even though this was my first time giving a baby goat a vaccine, the armpit was so easy. Like as soon as you stuck it in, you knew you were in the right place, and it took like 5 seconds. The first one took me a little bit longer because I had to get situated and figure out how to like really hold him. But you know, after I got him straight, it was easy peasy giving it to the little girl. And I'll do their boosters within 2 to 3 weeks. So the vaccine I gave them was CD&T. The CD portion, I'm not even going to try to say that long word, but it's basically to prevent like an overeating disease, and T is for tetanus. And every goat owner needs to give CD&T, especially for tetanus, because you know they can get in some sticky situations because they're goats and they do silly things, or any kind of livestock, not even just goats, are going to do silly things. So yeah, that's basically my top 3, I think, that would help any beginner goat farmer or goat homesteader. I think that I can really highlight those as the best things I've probably learned in the first 30 days. And I'm sure I'll learn way more, but it's definitely made it easier for when Fatty McFatty over here gives birth to hers. I won't be quite as nervous. So, you know, anything that'll help another homesteader or rancher or whatever out. If you haven't yet, check out my new website. It's called harrishomesteader.com. Follow me on social media at Harris Homesteader on Instagram and Megan Harris Homesteader on Facebook. Be sure to like and subscribe to my videos for more goat ranching and chicken chasing and kid chasing videos. Guys. Hey guys, you gonna eat my camera? Hi. Hi. Hey guys.